Hi, PerspectaWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday, June 25th. A rather typical summertime day here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Partly sunny skies expected today. Rather comfortable for this time of the year with high temperatures probably in the mid-80s in the DC, Philadelphia, New York City corridor. Moderate humidity, not anything excessive by any means in terms of heat or humidity. In fact, we really have been lucky so far in the month of June without any sustained heat. By that I mean 3 or more days in a row with 90 plus degrees for afternoon highs. I'm not sure if we have had any of that so far in DC, Philadelphia, and New York City. Certainly if we've had that, it only occurred maybe on one occasion so far in June, and that of course follows a cooler than normal month of May and a cooler than normal month of April. Well, we've been talking a lot in recent days about the dust plume that came off of the African west coast and has now crossed the Atlantic Ocean and pushed into the southern U.S. Even some of that dusty air mass can make it as far north as the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic region over the next few days. While it's in existence, it has an inhibiting effect on tropical activity in the Atlantic basin, but only on a temporary basis. And many of you have seen our tropical outlook here at PerspectaWeather.com. If not, just go to the website, Perspecta Weather, and you'll see our tropical outlook. We expect an active season, above normal number of storms. It certainly has begun on an active side. There have been now 4 named systems, all of which relatively weak, tropical storm status, no hurricane as of yet, but the number is certainly above normal. And once this current outbreak of dusty air from the Sahara Desert region of Africa dissipates over the Atlantic, expect a return to more active weather in the tropical Atlantic, and in fact we're seeing some signs of it already here. I want to take a look at the kind of an enhanced infrared satellite image from the University of Wisconsin CIMSS website. Very impressive wave here, and what we're looking at, this is the west coast of Africa right here, and you can kind of see on this particular band, again it's an enhanced IR band, a lot of this right here, this kind of milkiness to the pattern, is residual dust from that outbreak of the Sahara Desert plume that is kind of regenerating over the eastern part of the Atlantic Ocean. But look at here, just to the south of that, this is a very impressive looking wave right now approaching the west coast of Africa, moving in this general direction, and basically to the south of that plume of dry air. Another wave right out here, and yet another pretty impressive wave right out here. Now these are all pretty far to the south, kind of being forced that far to the south because of this plume of very dry and warm air associated with that outbreak from northern Africa. But soon this will dissipate and these will have a better chance of surviving, especially this one. So we'll see over the next 5 to 10 days or so. There very well could be a system to monitor in the eastern Atlantic Ocean as it traverses across the Atlantic from the east to the west. Again, the inhibiting impact of a plume of dusty air is only a temporary thing, and we do expect conditions to pick up in activity over the next several days. Well, one other supporting piece of evidence for more activity in the tropics once this dusty air mass dissipates is produced here by what we call the Madden-Julian oscillation index. The Madden-Julian oscillation is really a tropical disturbance that propagates eastward through the tropics on a regular basis, and depending on the location of that tropical disturbance and the magnitude of that tropical disturbance, there are different temperature and precipitation patterns that set up around the world. What happens in the tropics is, of course, critical to worldwide weather and climate. A vast majority of the heat and energy is located comes from the tropical regions of the world. In fact, the whole idea, the whole concept here for hurricanes and tropical cyclones is nature's way of kind of distributing the heat from the tropics to the poles. Really, that's the general idea here that nature has as a way to balance things out and to bring hot, humid air masses from the tropical regions northward towards the poles. And the Madden-Julian oscillation is one way we can kind of track the particular tropical disturbance, and in what we call phases. Different phases generally result in certain types of temperature and precipitation patterns, and the phase has to do with the location around the tropics as to where that tropical disturbance currently resides. Also has something to do with the magnitude, the strength of that particular tropical disturbance. The green that is showing up on this particular type of plot, right in this region right here, represents the forecast, in this case from the ensemble run of the GFS, what we call the GEFS, going forward all the way out to July 8th. From the current day, June 24th, all the way out to July 8th. The green, again, represents the forecast. And notice it's in what we call phase one primarily. And phase one, historically or empirically, has been an active phase in terms of tropical activity in the southwestern Atlantic, in the Gulf of Mexico, and the southeastern U.S. So again, right now we're experiencing kind of an inhibiting impact by this plume of dusty, dry air over the tropical Atlantic. But as soon as that dissipates, and it will do so quite soon, we'll go back to probably above normal activity. Again, we've had 4 named storms already going back to May into the month of June, and the signals are there for activity to ramp up shortly. And of course, we saw that very impressive wave right now, just now about to hit the west coast of Africa and then move out over the open waters of the tropical Atlantic, and we'll certainly monitor that particular feature over the next 5 or 10 days or so. Well, let's now get back to the continental U.S. We have an active weather pattern here, certainly for the mid-Atlantic region, much of the eastern half of the nation in coming days. There is a threat for scattered showers and thunderstorms late today, early tonight in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, the rest of the mid-Atlantic region. I think an even more impressive threat is coming maybe late Saturday night into the day on Sunday. And I think some of those storms can be on the strong to severe side Saturday night going into the day on Sunday, especially north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border, the Mason-Dixon line. There's a very strong wave that will move from the Great Lakes towards the northeast U.S. on Saturday. We'll kind of have a spike in heat and humidity on Saturday, probably the lower to middle 90s for highs in D.C., at least 90 degrees in Philadelphia and New York City as well. More humidity, and again a strong wave to the north, especially impacting areas, let's say Philadelphia and New York City, in terms of the potential of strong to severe thunderstorm activity Saturday evening. And we'll get into that over the next couple of minutes here. First of all, starting off the day right now, relatively rain-free conditions here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Again, a rather typical summer day, no excessive heat, no excessive humidity, highs in the 80s. We'll be scattered late afternoon, early evening showers and thunderstorms. I do not expect a widespread development of showers and thunderstorms later today. I do not expect much in the way of severe weather either, but it certainly can be a shower or thunderstorm late in the day and early tonight as a kind of a weak frontal boundary zone pushes through the region. That probably paves the way for a rain-free day on Friday to end the work week. Again, not excessively hot, no excessive humidity on Friday, highs in the 80s with moderate humidity levels. Then we'll start looking to the northwest here as we go into the weekend. And here we are, a couple things to point out. First of all, this is the Friday evening forecast map. First of all, strong high pressure shifts over to the southeastern part of the nation. That'll do a few things. First of all, The winds blow clockwise around highs, so winds will blow in this fashion right here. So on the backside of this high, the winds will be out of the southwest, pushing very warm and humid air into the Midwest and ultimately into the Mid-Atlantic region. And it looks like high temperatures again on Saturday afternoon could be in the 90s in DC and at least 90 degrees in Philadelphia and New York City. And in addition to the push of very warm and more humid air on Saturday, also have a chance that some of that dusty plume of air that is now over the southern U.S. pushes into the Ohio Valley and into the Mid-Atlantic region. Even some possibility that some of that is already now in as far north as the Mid-Atlantic region. There's some pictures I've seen of sunrise this morning with a very, very orange look to it. So it's possible that some dust has already made it into the Mid-Atlantic region. If it increases over the next few days, it'll probably result in more colorful sunrises and sunsets for a few days in the Mid-Atlantic region, in the Ohio Valley, more orange and red compared to normal. But here's that wave of energy here by Friday evening over the Great Lakes. Now let's move into the day on Saturday. Here's Saturday morning. Notice low pressure even associated with this wave of energy headed right into the northeastern states on Saturday. Again, a hot day in the Mid-Atlantic region. And look at this little kinkiness in the isobar pattern right here where the isobars go up and then down, up and then down. This is a frontal system here, right here. So that enhances the chance for showers and thunderstorms, I think, late Saturday and Saturday night. So you have a combination of a spike in heat and humidity on Saturday, a frontal boundary zone coming our way, and a strong wave in the upper part of the atmosphere heading just to the north of the Mid-Atlantic region into the northeast U.S. And again, I think that could result in some strong showers and thunderstorms, maybe even severe thunderstorms, late Saturday afternoon into Saturday night, perhaps even spilling over into the day on Sunday. And that threat for severe weather is higher north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border, in places like Philadelphia and its suburbs, New York City and its suburbs, and that's primarily because that strong wave in the upper part of the atmosphere moves across northeastern part of the U.S. here. And then we get into the day on Sunday. Still a lot of energy in the atmosphere over the northeast U.S. on Sunday. Perhaps not quite as hot on Sunday as it will be on Saturday. Again, maybe 90 to 95 for highs in D.C., more like 88, 89 degrees on Sunday afternoon in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. But again, we see a little bit of a wave, of a frontal boundary zone here extending from low pressure over the northeast U.S. on Sunday afternoon. So again, that threat for showers and thunderstorms will continue into the day on Sunday, maybe even some strong thunderstorms as well. Again, this follows perhaps an enhanced chance for strong to severe thunderstorms on Saturday night. So again, quite unsettled on Sunday, and then that finally swings on through here, and we get a little bit more comfortable going into the first half of next week. But there'll be an upper level system moving into the Great Lakes and northeast U.S., and that'll certainly keep things unsettled. Maybe a rain-free day on Monday, but a chance of showers and thunderstorms very likely to increase again by the time we get to Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Perhaps quite an unsettled weather pattern setting up. Anytime you have cooler than normal air in the upper part of the atmosphere this time of the year, and that is what would be the case if we have an upper level low moving in, it creates instability. You have the daytime heating that heats the lower part of the atmosphere and destabilizes the atmosphere with the cooler air in the upper part of the atmosphere. And that could be the pattern setting up by the time we get to the middle part of next week. So relatively normal type of summer day here on Thursday in the Mid-Atlantic region, and even on Friday, only highs in the 80s, no excessive heat or humidity. Chance for strong to severe thunderstorms by the time we get to late Saturday and Saturday night, especially north of the Mason-Dixon line, the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. And Saturday will feature a spike in temperatures and humidity into the 90s in much of the Mid-Atlantic region on Saturday. Meanwhile, we'll continue to monitor the tropics. Looks like some very strong waves are now pushing westward through Africa towards the open waters of the eastern Atlantic, and there may be some activity to talk about over the next 5 to 10 days or so. That's it for now. For PerspectaWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.